One of the most overlooked aspects of Watch Dogs 1 is how much of the game's tension and identity comes from the Fixer ecosystem, a whole hidden layer of Chicago's criminal underworld that the story briefly touches on but never fully explores. Players encounter Fixers constantly, either as hostile pursuers, contract targets, or nameless operators coordinating digital hits. But the game quietly builds an entire shadow economy around them that reveals how unstable and dangerous the city really is. In many ways, the Fixers are proof that ctOS didn't create chaos. It simply gave an already corrupt system better tools. What makes this network so fascinating is how structured it feels compared to the chaotic gangs we see all over the city. Fixers aren't just hitmen. They function almost like mercenaries with their own hierarchy, code of conduct, and job distribution. Jordy Chin gives us the clearest look into this world. He's not just a quirky side character, he's a rare example of a Fixer who actually understands the long game, choosing alliances carefully and keeping his distance from reckless coworkers. His interactions imply that most Fixers rely on contractors to provide weapons, disguises, vehicles, and even safe houses across Chicago. This isn't something the story spells out, but the gameplay supports it. Every Fixer event feels organized, coordinated, and surprisingly professional, as if there's a dispatcher behind the scenes running everything through encrypted channels. What's even more interesting is how ctOS integrates into their operations. While Aiden uses the system for vigilante justice, Fixers use the same access points to surveil targets, jam communications, and track escape routes. Several Fixer missions show that they can trigger roadblocks, scan license plates, and remotely access city infrastructure almost as easily as Aiden. This raises a major implication. Someone inside Blume is feeding these people data. Fixers aren't hacking the city on their own, they're being granted access. The game never answers who is truly pulling the strings, but everything points to a deliberate relationship between corporate power and criminal activity. In fact, the Fixer contracts themselves reveal an unofficial legal gray zone. They often target individuals who are inconvenient to corporations, political figures, or organized crime, not necessarily criminals. Aiden taking those contracts means he unknowingly participates in the same system he's fighting against. The gameplay disguises these missions as simple side content, but narratively they show just how blurred the moral lines of Watch Dogs really are. Every job you accept reinforces the very machine that destroyed Aiden's life. And then there's the biggest clue the game drops. Fixers don't fear the police. They work around them. Police chases are scripted to escalate quickly, almost like law enforcement expects Fixers to be faster and better equipped than the average criminal. It implies an unofficial understanding. The cops push back just enough to look like they're doing their jobs, while Fixers continue operating freely. When Jordy says, "Everyone needs a little chaos, eh?" he's more right than he lets on. The Fixers thrive because the city allows them to thrive. What Watch Dogs 1 never says outright but heavily suggests is that Fixers are the real backbone of Chicago's criminal landscape. They're the ones who enforce contracts,